Greetings to you all and welcome back to Let's Play Super Swiv. We're about to be ambushed. The start of this level is not easy. I will use as many specials as I need to get by. Now, I see a green box and I see plasma. I was about to say that we're in a very bad position here because we didn't have many weapons left. And the reason for that is because we kept dying. Now, in this game, every time you die, kill that before it fires. Every time you die, all of your weapons lose one level. You say I've got Plasma 6, so it's going to take a lot for me to lose Plasma. But still, Plasma 6 is when it fires 5 shots. Plasma 5 is only going to fire 3 shots. So it gets a lot worse if I just die once. There's a couple of frightening enemies in this level. You've seen them both. I managed to kill one before it could do anything, and the other nearly destroyed me. Tanks are obviously no threat. There are tanks hidden under that bridge, very sneaky. And there are the homing missile turrets that we've all come to know and love, hiding on the banks left and right, which is why I try and stay in the middle. Now this thing, which I can only call the Hornet, it's my own little name for it, it's fine, shoots rockets straight down, but when you damage it enough, it splits, firing 4 homing rockets. Plasma, very good, kills the rockets in 1 hit apiece. If you're trying to fight that thing with laser or with bullet, it's very difficult. Flame's alright. You can spin flame around in the Jeep. If you're in a helicopter, you're dead. That's all there is to it. Now the big brown plane that comes from behind that I'm terrified of, that thing has 2 little mounted pods on the front. And we'll show this enemy off. And if you let it fire, then they will go forwards and then they explode in midair, just on their own, and it creates a kind of starburst pattern of bullets that come towards you and you have to dodge them. Now it has 2 of these things, which makes it quite difficult to dodge. It's your typical 8-directional spread, but there's 2 of them, so hard to dodge. Now that green thing that came in is, I don't know what the yellow things are called, so we're going to call them the canisters. It is the canister lifter. There you go. I'm sure these enemies have proper names, but I doubt they're that good. So, canister lifter shall be the name of that enemy. What it does is it comes in and it tries to lift the canisters. And you have 2 options. You can either destroy the canister before it gets there. Ignore what's happening on the screen, it's not important. You can either destroy the canister before it gets there and you get the items in the canister and it never even appears, or if it's on the screen it flies off without doing anything. Or you can wait and let it pick up the canister, at which point the enemy will try and fight you, as you saw it do. Now if you destroy it after it's picked up the canister, you get more weapon upgrades. So you saw me destroy it, it still dropped its weapon upgrades. You get more of them if you let it pick it up first. However, it doesn't hang about for long. Obvious threat that it might kill you, let's ignore that one's not important. It doesn't hang around for very long. So if you can't kill the thing quickly enough, you get no weapon upgrades at all. So that's the trade-off you play there. There's one of those in every level, I do believe. Certainly on the 2 previous levels there were points where it would have appeared, but I took the weapon upgrades before it could. Easiest way to kill it is with a special or 2. Plasma's not the biggest damage-dealing thing in the world, but we did okay with it. Now, I seem to be glossing over the point that I am now a boat. Being a boat is terrible. Not gonna lie. Awful. This is where the helicopter's got an advantage. Helicopter, at the end of the river, the dam, I think that's what we usually call it, where the water stops and starts, we call it a dam. The helicopter would just fly straight over and would keep going, and everything that you've learned so far about the game would continue to be true. If you're in a Jeep, you vault the wall. I didn't have to press jump, it does it automatically. And then you turn into a boat. And I hate the boat, because the boat is so slippy. It is really hard to control. It just slides around on the water, which some people will say, well, that's very realistic, Artega. I don't know why you're complaining. And I would say, because I'm dying, and I don't like it. But there you go, I hate the boat. You just have to put up with it. In the long run, it's better to have half a level of boat than it is to put up with the entire game of helicopter. Notice I very cleverly didn't tell you how many levels are in this game there. But it is what it is. Now in the water, there are lots of enemies that give stars, because presumably they're considered tough. They're not. Don't worry about them. But they are important enemies, and it's nice that you got to see one of them actually fire, because usually I kill all these things before they even shoot. I say usually because I prepared this game, I practiced, I care, I want to look like I'm doing well. Now the music has changed. What does that mean? It means all of those lasers we picked up earlier, time to use them. That is a terrible, terrible piece of luck. A laser is my boss killing weapon of choice. Just because it does the most damage to a stationary target. It's useless against moving targets, which is what the levels are filled with. So this is nice and logical. And the boss is dead. Why? Because S, the fire special, is too good. It's just too good. Now that boss, you pretty much saw everything he does. He fires out an irritating spiraling weapon that, if you're unlucky, will trap you in a corner and kill you. If you're lucky, you'll be able to get through the opening, and that's fine. But those 4 little boxes that circle around it, as you kill them, then they start to fire more weapons. As you notice, they fired little, I don't know what to call them, crescent type things that curve around. They were shooting 3 each. If you destroy one, then they all start shooting, I think it's 4 each. If you destroy another one, then they start shooting 6 each. And if you destroy another one, then they start shooting, well, the one remaining one shoots 8. And then if you destroy that, then it's fine. The boss has lost most of its weaponry. So these enemies are a bit interesting. When they have a shield up, they kill them. When they have a shield up, they fire lasers. You can pop their shield, but this game hates me. But when you pop their shields, they start to fire homing rockets at you, which is worse. So better of 2 evils? I don't know. But now I've got Plasma 7, I'm in a much better place. You'll notice we had to destroy another one of the famous canister lifters there. And it dropped a lot of bullets. Why? Because it was a canister lifter, not just a canister. Now I'm in a plane. I do have to take great care to avoid enemy aircraft. Fortunately now I don't have to dodge the tanks anymore. They're down there somewhere. Exhaust jets, what do they tell you? They tell you to keep the hell away. If you walk into that yellow, you will die. More stuff for me to dodge now. I'm playing a bit like a helicopter. Can't turn my gun anymore. The helicopter, I believe, also turns into a plane. But I've never got this far with the helicopter. So I don't know. I would presume it can keep flying, but there was a second docking area for a helicopter. Now this thing has lots of these little side extensions which have giant cannons on them, which you might be frightened of. Firstly, know that they take off and are self-sufficient. Secondly, know that they fire all the rockets that can be destroyed in one shot, so they're not a threat. Here's an enemy you see in every shoot-'em-up known to mankind. It's the old in-and-out lightning ball thing. It's no more of a threat here than it ever usually is. I'm going to make a special effort to kill these ones, no apparent reason. Really, there is no reason, the stars are nice. Couple of side extensions to deal with. As I alluded to earlier, the music in this game I do feel is very nice. Unfortunately here you kind of have to go around the outside, otherwise you get killed by the blades. The blades do damage and no, you can't kill them. That was a panic. There was no strategy there. I was just scared. That is bad luck. Die, you cursed egg. Having used a lot of specials here, not happy about this, but is what it is. Now it's time for the boss of this level, very short level. Here it is. No, it's not these. These are enemies it summons, kind of like the first boss. This is not a good position to be in, but there we go. We really could do with destroying little bits floating around in the airspace that we have. I'll try my hardest to kill this lightning thing beneath me, which is probably the biggest threat at the moment. Okay, nope, still not dead. This is the boss. X-Missile's very good at dealing damage to it. We have to destroy the propeller blades. Obviously the blades themselves are not the main threat, it is the entire aircraft which is really the boss. But we destroy it by destroying the propeller blades. Now you're probably crying for me to use more specials and get this over with, because this thing has a lot of health. But trust me, slow and steady is going to win the race once again for us. This is going to take a while, and plasma probably is my best bet here, because my laser I think is level 2. Maybe I'll check my laser in a minute. But this boss is not as simple as it seems. Got flame 3, laser 2. Yeah, I don't think it's much better. I don't like the hassle of having to change my gun. Now you may notice I still have bullet 1, that's not just because I haven't died enough times. It might be, but bullet you can never lose. The game understands that you always need some kind of weapon. Now even I'm bored. The game understands that you need a weapon at all times. You can't just have level 0 of everything. So bullet is the one weapon that even if you die immediately at the start of the game, you will still keep bullet. Now on to the real boss. As is always the way, the giant plane is nothing compared to just the escape pod. It flies in very, very annoying patterns. As you can tell, I want to be beneath it so I can actually damage the cursed thing. But it will always stay near the bottom of the screen for reasons I don't understand and try to crush me. I lost another life, not good. In this game you do get a life on 0, so I do have 2 remaining, not just the 1. I am so panicking about this boss now, I'm just blowing through specials to try and get access to my S. As is always the way in this game, the most frightening weapon is the small, colourful bullet. Winding down with that thing. Lost a lot more lives than I was hoping to. I like to have a good 2 or 3 lives at this point. I'm actually on my final life. You saw the score screen said I had 1 life, and you see this screen says I have no lives. This screen is, I don't know. The previous screen was correct. I have 1 life. It's the one I'm on. There are no others to go. So that means I have to do this level with 1 life. That's going to be very difficult. Hopefully you'll join me next time and we'll see my imminent failure. I'll see you then.